Alright, what is up guys? VV back with another video. And today we're going to be looking at a game between me and my son Rylan. And it's going to be, excuse me, we're trying a new setup at the house, so it came out a little darker than I wanted, so just bear with me there. I'm going to go ahead and play while I'm talking. But it came out a little bit darker. I think I just need to adjust the lighting, and then this will probably end up being a better setup than the last one. Excuse me. So again, you can see here it's a little dark, but okay. Borsellino, Bluno, Kobe, and wait, who was that? Gotta go back. And Kaku. Those are the cards there. Okay, very nice. And let's see what Rylan got here. He got Pudding, but one Searcher and two of the 2Ks, Sanji, 2K counter, and Big Mom. All right, not the fastest start, but hopefully the Pudding will be able to get him something good here. So anyway, like I said, I am messing around with a little bit of a different setup here. I like it overall. It's definitely better ergonomically than our previous setup, but I need to adjust the lighting to try and get a little bit better setup there. Okay, so let's see what he got. So he did a Pudding search. I'm going to pause this. It looks like he got a Thunderbolt, a Opera, and two more Searcher Puddings. That's unfortunate. So he's really only going to be able to get the Opera or the Thunderbolt. Goes with the Opera. Yep, that's definitely the right play there, I think. Because for those who don't know, okay, so this is Lucci versus Katakuri. Sorry, I should have mentioned that beforehand. Lucci, or all black decks really, especially in OP-03. We'll see how things are in OP-04. But in OP-03, you know, there's a lot of black cards that have resilience. Cards like Fukuro, cards like Borsellino. Excuse me. And it looks like I just played 2 Dawn and Pass. No actual turn 1 or turn 2 play. I was trying to show the camera there. And I think once I get lighting, it'll be a lot easier to see. Okay, so it looks like Rylan's going to load up here and swing for 5. Now, I know the only other thing he could do this turn is swing for 5 more. So I'm going to take one of them, and I'm going to counter out of the other. Against the yellow decks, when you're playing Lucci, it's probably... I don't think it's a bad idea to take life a little bit early, as long as you can provide blockers and lots of things like, 4K counters or the 3K counters like 6 King Pistol, which I don't think I run in this deck. Okay, so Lucci's, I'm going to swing in at Pudding. I just want board control, drop a Borsellino, and pass the turn back. If I can establish enough blockers, I should be able to win basically off my leader's attacks alone, right? That's kind of the logic here. It's just constant pressure, constantly get cards out of hand, eat up the board when possible, and play cards that can't be KO'd. That's all I'm going for this game. And I will say that I take life pretty aggressively this game, if I remember correctly, and you'll see that. Okay, so Katakuri here loading up for 1, so he's going to swing for 7. And takes a look at his own life. Sees a Peckham's on top. That's what that card was. And I'm just going to take it. Like I said, I don't think it's... I didn't even finish my thought earlier. Sorry, guys. I don't think it's a bad idea to take life early against yellow, because you're going to start losing cards from your life against yellow. They're going to Big Mom, or whatever they might be playing, something like... Well, yeah, Big Mom's the best example. So I'm not exactly upset about losing it then, because otherwise I'm going to lose it for no value later, potentially. Okay, swinging for 5 with Lucci. And of course, I'm going to have an answer for this Opera. I go to 6 Dawn here. Going to tap 6. And you can guess what's coming. Okay, Sakazuki. Yep. Okay, it's a 5 or less. And I have to trash a card from hand. Let's see what I trash. I think I trash a Kaku, because I've already kind of made up my mind early here. I'm going to take life fairly aggressively, especially since I have board control. So that, and I know, the only real removal in Katakuri, other than Katakuri, the 8 cost, is Thunderbolt. Well, everything on my board is safe from that. Okay, so I'm not worried about that at all. And, theoretically, if he does drop Katakuri, you're giving me a life card. So again, it's one of those things where it kind of ends up balancing out. And as you can see in his hand, he has a Cracker. Well, if I'm above his life, then his Cracker is that much more effective against me. And we'll see how that plays out in this game. So, swings for 5. So I know immediately that he's, my opponent here is going to be doing something that involves all 7 of his Dawn. Because he has 7 Dawn, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. So I say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take that life. No trigger. And let's see what comes down here. It's either going to be a 7 cost Big Mom or Charlotte Katakuri rather, or a 3 and a 4 drop. Yeah, here we go. Let's see what it is. So we got Peckham's. Okay, just a nice 3 cost 5,000 power body with a 1k counter, vanilla character. Big Bomb Pirate searchable. And let's see what he goes with. We know he has a Cracker in hand and goes with a Smoothie. Okay, so there you go. Right away, it's kind of exactly like what I was saying. His Cracker has almost no value against me because I'm under him in life. Now, yes, that does have its pros and cons, right? There is a balance. There's definitely a balance. All right, let's see what he's got in his hand. Whoops, let me pause it. No. Sorry, we'll go back real quick. Okay. See if it plays. There we go. I think it's about to show. All right, here it goes right here. Sorry, guys. Did I miss it? No, here it goes. Right there. Okay, so he's got Shirahoshi, Cracker, the 2K puddings, the 2K Sanji, and the Charlotte Linlin. So I'm always going to try to stay 1 life under him no matter what. Even though I didn't even know he had the Charlotte Cracker when I'm playing against him, obviously. And don't let the camera angle fool you. I cannot see his hand. Like when we're playing from these angles, I can't see his hand at all. He can't see my hand at all. Okay, so I'm just going to swing 7 here with Sakazuki. I'm saying, okay, I'm at a good position on the board. I know I'm going to remove one of these characters. Because another thing I should have mentioned in the beginning of this video is this version of Rob Lucci that I'm playing, I think I pretty much just copy-pasted it. So let me do some explanation there. I just copied this deck, like net decked it. Both of these decks we're playing, the Katakuri and the Rob Lucci, are net decks because I'm separating all my cards into different, like, all right, here's all my black cards, yellow cards, red cards, blue cards, and so on. Because OP-04 is coming out very soon at the time of recording this video. So I'm kind of getting ready for that. I've taken apart my black-yellow Charlotte Linlin deck. I've taken apart all the different decks I had from OP-03. It was mainly just a bunch of black decks, to be honest. But I've taken them all apart. I just have the vanilla, monocolored leaders in preparation for OP-04. So I swung for 7. He counters out. Excuse me. Or no, did he take it? I forgot already. I think he's down. Yeah, he's down to 3 life. So he took something. Oh, he countered out of the Rob Lucci attack. And I'm kind of adjusting my Dawn here. Not the best thing, not the best idea to do unless you're trying to mislead your opponent by doing that. And I do here. You'll see exactly what happens. It looks like, 4 Dawn for like a Borsellino, 3 Dawn for that Kobe, and then 1 Dawn left over. It's like, no, that's actually not what I'm going to do at all. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing to get in the practice of, is arranging your Dawn in ways that are totally random. So I had to trashed another Kaku to play the Kobe to KO the Peckhams. I choose not to untap my leader here, and I play a Fukuro 2 Dawn active. So yeah, you have an idea of what I have in my hand, right? It's probably an impact wave. So okay, let's see what Ryland does here. Okay, I show my hand there. I've got, whoops, I'm so slow with that, guys. I'm so sorry. It looked like I had a Kuzan, 2 Borsellinos, a Bluno, and an impact wave. So 2 more Borsellinos. So I've got 3 Borsellinos. My strategy here is going to work out perfectly because I have so many blockers. If I just stay under the life of my opponent and try to draw as many cards from my life as possible, I should be able to out-eke my opponent in damage and board control and things like that. Because while yes, it is dangerous to get low life, yellow decks don't have unblockable characters. But guess what? If I have like 4 life and my opponent goes, okay, Big Mom, into Big Mom, into Big Mom, or 10 call Charlotte Linlin is what I'm talking about there. Well, all of a sudden I've lost 3 cards. So I'd rather take the life cards early in this specific matchup. Okay, so let's see what happens. So, excuse me, Smoothie is still down. I wasn't able to deal with that. And let's see what my opponent does here. It looks like we're at 9 Dawn. So he is still 1 Dawn away from 10 cost Charlotte Linlin, assuming he has it. Like, we know he has it because we've seen his hand, but I wasn't sure if he had it or not. The deck does run 8 cost Katakuri, but I think only 2 of them. So, and that's because that's all I have available, unfortunately. I think the deck should run 3, actually. I don't think it should run 4, personally, but I think 3 is probably the perfect number for Charlotte Katakuri 8 cost. But we'll see. Okay, so loads up a Dawn on Smoothie. He's deciding whether or not he wants to use the effect. He says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and use the effect here to draw a card from life, go down to 2, give plus 2,000 to my Smoothie, and plus 1,000 from the Dawn, swinging in for 8k. So this, in my mind, it doesn't always work out this perfectly. In my mind, this is the perfect opportunity for me to bluff the Impact Wave, even though I have it. So he might think I'm just bluffing. I really considered using it here, but I choose not to. And if I'm not mistaken, he might have actually swung into... Yeah, no, okay, points. He's swinging at my leader. I think I asked him, I said, are you swinging into Sakazuki or are you swinging into leader? And he's swinging into the leader. So again, I could do a perfect little 9k, block here, but I say, no, I'm just going to take that. And off the top, I get another Impact Wave. So for those who do not know, Impact Wave, when you're using the actual event itself, not from the trigger, it can only KO a 3 or less active character. But the trigger, the life trigger, can KO a 4 or less in any orientation. Doesn't matter if they're tapped or not. Okay, so he looks at my life card. I showed it to the camera. I don't know what it is, but it's a Fukuro. And he's swinging for 7 at Sakazuki. I don't want to let Sakazuki go, so I go ahead and opt for the play to knock out the Fukuro because I have a Bluno in hand. If he KOs my Bluno, then I can just get Fukuro out of the trash and back on the board. I'd rather keep up the pressure here. And here we go. So he plays 7 calls Big Mom, and I say I'm going to go ahead and take the life. I'm going to go ahead and take it now. I'm not going to give you an extra life. I'm in commanding position in this game. You could probably still play it the other way around where you don't take life, where you give your opponent life. But it ended up being a Fukuro. Now, had I known that, and I knew, you can't know. Here I'm swinging it for 7k here. You can never know what's in your life cards, right? Unless you have ways to reveal it. And if I had known that, I would have actually just countered out to save my Sakazuki. Okay, so he counters out he goes to 8k to stop the Sakazuki hit. So that's just to show the value of a 7k attack. I'm swinging for 7k without a single Dawn investment. I just got 2 cards out of his hand. Right, that's the power there. And if I told him to gain a life from the 7 calls Charlotte Linlin, he probably would have just drawn a card there. So instead of going up a card, he went down 2 cards. That's a 3 card net loss, right? Overall. Okay, 2k counters out of my of my leader's attack. Okay, and I'm deep in the tank here. I have a lot of options in hand. Y'all saw I had the Impact Wave. Y'all saw I had Bluno. Y'all saw I had a Kuzan. I had 2 Borsalinos. So right away, the number one thing I have to establish is a Kuzan to draw a card. That was my thoughts here. In case he gets down Charlotte Linlin and I have to deal with it through answers like, some type of way to KO, that was my thoughts there. But ultimately, I don't think that's going to matter as much. So I play 4 calls Borsalino here. I don't pass the turn right back here because I'm actually considering attacking. But it's like, well, no, I only have 1 life left. So, what is it? He's got an 8k Charlotte Linlin and a 5k leader. He'll have 11,000 damage, 11,000 power to distribute across them. So I think, what can he get to? Like 12,000 on each body? Let me see. 8k plus the 5k puts him at 13, plus 11, 24. Yeah, so that would put him at 12k swinging twice, and I don't think I could have stopped that without the 2 blockers. So, got the Borsalino. My hand hasn't really changed. I have an Isuka in hand as well. For those who don't know what Isuka is a pretty decent card that I've seen in some Lucci lists now, where it's kind of like Lucci's ability. It's more like a little mini Basil Hawkins, but it has to KO the character. It can't just attack the character and then stand up. It does have to KO the character. It's also a 3 cost 4k with a 1k counter, so it's decent. It's fine for what it is. Okay, so drops a Parasparrow here. Excuse me. This I would consider this the first, really the only first play mistake I've seen so far, because I will be able to use that Impact Wave here. And I think I remember asking him if he wanted to do that. And I think his logic was, yeah, I need to search for better cards. Like the Parasparrow was just dead in hand otherwise. I think that was the logic. And he was actually using it as a searcher, which that makes sense. Now this doesn't. He's still getting better at this, putting the Dawn on first. But that's okay. You got to start somewhere. He is only 12. So he's going to come in here for, I didn't see how much it was. It's 7, I think it's like 11k. I want to say it's 11k. And so I'm going to pay 2 here to go up to 11, and then go up 1k more with Issaka. Yeah, so it was 11. I go to 12, and then KO the Paraspero with the Impact Wave. And as funny as it is, he reminded me of it at that part right there, because I still had a lot on my mind. And he goes, isn't that supposed to KO? And he's like, and I was like, oh yeah. And it's like, okay, cool. Now he actually gets to look through some cards here, because he's pretty much out of gas. You know, and that's, I'm not sure exactly at what point he got to where it is here, where like, how do I say it? Okay, got rid of Streusen and Sanji for the blocker. I think what really got him here was just, and I think he has 5 cards in hand, by the way. I don't think he has 0 cards. He has like 5 cards in hand. But it's like the board control at this point is too much to overcome. Okay, and he's going to swing 7, 8, 9, 10. I think he's swinging 11k again at Sakazuki, and I can't defend it this time. Okay, good stuff. And now it's my turn. And this is not a spot anyone wants to be in, where they're staring down 2 Borsalinos, you know, Rob Lucci as the leader, and a Kuzan on the other side, where ultimately I can kind of do whatever I want here. And I personally do not see the Lin and the Katakuri as a threat, because I have 2 blockers. So I'm not even going to try to, I don't even think I go to answer the Charlotte Lin. But let's see, I've got 2 Borsalinos in hand. So I ended up drawing all 4 Borsalinos this game. That is very, very fortunate. Got a Bluno and a Impact Wave in hand. So, commanding lead in this game, even though I'm at 0 life and my opponent's at 2. It doesn't quite matter. And let's see, he's got Shirahoshi, Peckham's, and Big Mom in hand, I saw. I'm not sure what else he had. I think he does show in a second. So I am talking right here. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go to 8 to attack that Charlotte Lin, and then you just, you know, trash 1 card and it survives. I'd rather just swing 7 at life, where it's going to force you to use 2 cards bare minimum. Okay, now he's down to 1 life card after that swing. And let's see from here. I think go 5. Yep, just start getting some damage out. Let's see what he chooses. Goes Peckham's, you know, easy little 1k counter. But again, I'm eating cards from hand. So, yeah, here's a little bluff here. I say, okay, I'm swinging for 5 and -4 to the cost of your Charlotte Lin. She's now at 3. Takes it. No trigger. He didn't, that was the thing too, is like, you know, one thing about Charlotte Katakuri, it's not dependent on triggers, but it kind of is at the same time. Right, where it's like, okay, if you're having a lot of luck that night and drawing or hitting a lot of your life triggers, your games are so much easier. And I know everyone already knows that, but it just makes your game so much easier. Okay, triple Borsellino down, and there's only 2 characters, or well, you know, there's a leader and a character on my opponent's side of the board. I feel as good as you can here. Okay, I show Bluno, Borsellino, and Impact Wave, and let's see what happens. I think the only thing you can even do in this situation is try to establish some blockers, because Charlotte Lin, the 10 cost, is not going to save you. It's not even going to affect me, right, because I have no life cards. You'll get 1 life card, and then you get to swing for 5 with your leader, which I can block with a Borsellino, and 8k with your Charlotte Lin, which I can block. So, okay, yep, and that's what he does. That's what happens. He just tries to establish a board here, some blockers. Okay, Shirahoshi should have been played first there for sure to see what kind of cards he could draw, but there's not much that can happen. Just speaking, you know, as far as like technically proper plays, but not a big deal. And he's in such a bad spot here. I do remember in the game he was you know, one thing you have to try to do whenever you're playing against someone is don't let your facial expressions or your emotions flare up to the point where your opponent can see like, he's looking defeated. Right, unless you're doing that intentionally to trick them. Okay, so he trashes a Paraspero and a 10 cost Big Mom here, no counter power. And I think actually something happens here where my son had to learn an interaction here. Yeah, so he had planned this entire turn out where he had 2 Dawn active, where he was going to use the Thunderbolt. However, he did not know that if you did not have any life, you can't even use it. So he changes that out. He takes the Paraspero back, trashes the Big Mom and the Thunderbolt instead. It obviously won't matter that much. It's something he just did not know, right? You know, some things you can't learn until they come up in the game. So, okay, so he's going to go ahead and swing 7 here, or 8, excuse me. He's going to swing 8 here with Katakuri and 8 with Charlotte Linlin. And let's see where he goes with it. Again, there's not a whole lot that can be done at this point in the game. There's just a little too much control. He swings at Kuzan to take some attacks off the board. I say sure. And then here's his last attack. So I say, okay, this is basically the nail in the coffin. I'm going to counter just to KO your blocker. Not for any other reason. I still let him kill the Kobe. I could have saved it if I wanted to there, but nope. Just needed to get the blocker off the board. And at this point, it wouldn't have mattered either way because of how Lucci works. I would have just loaded like 7 or 9, loaded him up to 7 or 9, attacked. If he uses blocker, I pitch 2 cards and stand him up. So come in for 7. He's going to counter out of this. Has to. He has no life left. Okay, now it's time to start turning the Borsellino sideways. 7, and that's game. And it's one of those things where you obviously can't win them all, especially if the deck's not going to help you out as well. If you're not going to get, like, notice these pair of sparrows and crackers he has in hand. If he could have gotten those from his life stack, this would have been a very, very different game. Excuse me. But at the same time, it is what it is. The only a few things I did want to mention. Let's see. Shirahoshi should have been played first in the one round we talked about, but that's not a huge deal. It's because he didn't realize the interaction. He thought he had all of his Dawn his whole turn accounted for. He just didn't know that you had to have a life card to use Thunderbolt's effect. Like, he knew you had to trash a life card, but I think he was thinking in terms of the 7-cost Charlotte Linlin, where it's like, okay, well, if they don't have a life card to lose, then when you play it, they could choose to lose life and not have any life left. So, just a simple interaction like that can trick you. Let me just start hitting play for here. But yeah, I think, again, this whole game ends up becoming different. This whole game ends up being different if he started getting some actual triggers to play Smoothie from his life or to play Paraspera from his life. But yeah. And as far as the way I played the Lucci, I don't know if I would recommend doing that all the time. If you didn't notice, I did not draw 1 2K counter the entire game when I'm running 4 Khalifas, I'm running 4 Surus, and I'm running 4 Tashigis. 12 cards, and I did not draw a single 2K counter the entire game. And I'm not complaining, but it's one of those situations where you have to use the hand you've been dealt and use it to the best of your ability. And in this situation, I saw, okay, I think in the beginning of the game I had 2 Borsellinos and a Fukuro or a Bluno, and then an Impact Wave. So it's like, okay, I'm actually going to play defensively by going a little bit offensive with my leader, which is nice. That's what the leader can do, and Sakazuki can help that as well, right? But it's like against Katakuri, I know that if I have more life than him, then he has the benefit of being able to use his what's his name? Oh gosh, I can't remember his name. The Cracker, the Charlotte Cracker. Charlotte Smoothie just is what it is. That card's not anything crazy. But that one doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your life is. But then if I can get down to 0 life and stabilize, well, now his 10 costs and 7 costs Charlotte Linlins are pretty much worthless. And on top of that, if he's going to drop Charlotte Katakuri 8 costs and bounce my guys, well, okay, now you're actually giving me an extra turn, right? You're allowing me to take an attack that I couldn't have otherwise. So I don't know. I'm not saying that's always the way to play against Katakuri because it's very dangerous if they start hitting those life triggers. But anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Y'all know I love to do commentaries. And this was a fun deck for me to play because I typically don't play many mono black decks. I usually play the black yellow Charlotte Linlin leader. I've been messing with Garp and Z lately, and soon it's going to be Rebecca. So it was nice playing a mono black leader. That was a lot of fun. Well, all right, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you have any questions, concerns, whatever, be sure to listen in the comment section below. And I appreciate you guys. And until next time, peace.